Hey everybody, BTO Pro here. Today we're going to update the HAXtheweb.org website live and show you a different design, just to re-emphasize the flexibility here. So this is HAXtheweb.org. It's had some serious changes under the hood in the last 2 weeks, but you didn't notice, and that's the point. So let's look at what it is running off of my computer. So these are the source files running in a local DDEV container, and given enhancements to our theme layer this week, made a bunch of different themes. So now beyond documentation, we also have a learn theme. So let's see what that looks like. So I can have the option of saying, do I want my content to look like this? It has a similar type of left-hand menu, except this one references Atom and RSS feeds, another feature added this week. There's also an interactive breadcrumb trail building up there, so especially as I step down to the documentation, you can see I can follow the trail, and basically all state management issues that were in the system this time last week are gone. So I have these nice navigational patterns. It's got pretty good mobile responsiveness here. Flips that away, so now I've got the arrows down there. I can go back and pull that out, go to the page that I want, swipe this closed. So it's a pretty good theme, but I actually wasn't going to switch it to this one. I'm going to switch it to another theme made this week, which is just Basic Site, and I'm really liking Basic Site at the moment. So collapse that, and we'll see. This is the Basic Site style. So we've got welcome, integrations, solutions, documentation. All your high-level items are up here at the top, and then you'll see this is going to give me access to the like the active trail, if you will. So integrations, I can check out Backdrop CMS, or if I drill into the documentation area, you'll see that this presents the entire tree and then keeps it pervasively as I go through. So as I move through these, you see we have perfect state being kept between these. It's also picked up this green accent because that's the color that I have implied as my accent color. So we can actually shift that over. Let's make it cyan just to illustrate that point. You saw it shift there, and now it's shifted here too. So pretty stinking cool. Let's put that back in neon green. I'm a big believer in bright, very, very bright things. Oh, that's not bright enough. What are we doing? Gosh, not light green, lime. Silly. Ugh, lime, that's gross. Maybe we'll go with pink. All right, we can shift it all over the place. This is mostly just for fun. Shift it to yellow. And maybe amber, something like that. All right, so point is that you can maintain state pretty darn well. So go back to teal. There's one little style issue there with that theme banner, so something I'll have to work on. But you can see the breadcrumb, and this thing is fast. This is very fast outside of when I run into that banner. So let's shift it back over to the simple blog, or not simple blog, sorry, to the learn theme. Let's save, and let's try out, try and find those pages that kind of goofed with the UI in that design. See if it does. Oh, there we go. So it is maintaining it correctly here. So let's switch to the creating one theme, because I think this is significantly better than the original outline player that we had in place. And so now I'm going to hit publish, and this site is going to have a little bit of processing done. This question came up this week, is what happens when I hit publish? Can't I just do a git push? You can to get the files up, but there is a little bit of compiling that goes on, if you will, between the repos. And the reason for that, let's pull up HAXtheweb.org and see. So if we look at index.html, we'll see some JavaScript in there for setting path and a couple polyfills down here in the document. If we switch over to GitHub Pages, we'll see a static base path set. We'll also see some stuff to help this work on GitHub Pages. This is the real critical piece that's needed. GitHub Pages doesn't want to work with progressive web apps natively, so there's a little bit of magic, if you will, that we do to make sure that's okay. There's also some additional compiling and paths that are pointed to. You also see we serve these over a CDN for general performance purposes. So it's not that you can't do it, and it's something we will support, but it still needs some work there. So I go to the site, you are logged in, edit tools are shown. Oh, it noticed a change. Let's reload. There we go. So now you have seen the new version of haxtheweb.org and realize I could switch it back at any time, or I can move it ahead to that other basic, quote unquote, it's not basic, it's pretty awesome, theme, whatever I want. Part of why this is possible now as far as shifting these things around, here's a look at what's under the hood with the basic theme. Let's move that down into the video. We've now got a whole series of UI components that have all the state abstracted away into them. So most of that basic theme is really just in CSS. We use a lot of CSS mixins, which is something Polymer gives you, as well as direct CSS variables. And then this is part of something I'm calling so damn semantic, because it is. So if you're a themed developer and you want to build a new theme for HAXcms, you can just use our components and not have to worry about state and just know that it'll happen. So that basic theme showed site top menu, guess what that gives you? Site title, guess what that gives you? Site breadcrumb, notice no properties, no state implication. That will just figure out exactly what to show. A grid plate, so this is what we did for our layout. This is something Nikki actually made for Hax. Well, because we made a component, we've now enhanced the web as a platform itself, so we can now use the grid plate wherever the heck we want, in or out of Hax. In this case, it's in a template. The menu buttons that do that, previous and next, I just say I need a menu button, I need it to do previous, and I need the tooltip for it to be shown on the top of the item, which, reminder, this is how this looked before, but that's the same button right there. That's the same button if I go to here, and is the same as those other ones you saw. So that's the advantage of having a component that bundles the state up inside of it. Designers get to just put their intention on the interface, style it with CSS, but it also makes everybody's life a lot cleaner. You see active title, and active title is and children block, that's what's handling that left-hand menu. And they've got this dynamic methodology that has to do with how it should figure out what to show. So that's why when I go to a page, it's still maintaining showing the outline. If I would get rid of this dynamic methodology, it would default to active, and then the block would just show me the things underneath what I'm currently viewing. Similar with the title, if I took this out, I would get just the active items title no matter what. And then RSS buttons, those are pretty easy to read. So it was a big week in HAXcms associated with styling and bug fixes in the theme layer. So yeah, look for more themes to get cranked out real soon. For reference, this theme that did the basic work here that has no state in it, it's all wrapped up in these mixins, this took about 18 minutes to produce, legitimately end to end. So it's about to get insane how quickly we can crank out UI pieces and style them once we have the constructs behind them. The reason for the pace of development ticking up is we now effectively have what Drupal would call views on the front end. So this is something Jekyll templating engine has as well, is I can put down a site-query tag. There's one. And I can write a site query and generate a different method of assembling the items from the JSON outline schema that powers my site, just through a very simple query language. So we've got what direction to sort the items and the conditions. So parent is none, and that is enough to generate just the top menu links. So even our UI components are radically simplified because all of the state is able to be boiled up into these kind of magical tags that do a lot of the heavy lifting.